Howdy folks, Doc here with Last Best Tool. The other day I was working on some antique furniture and I was using this DuraTech combination sort of ratchet bit driver. It's a little quarter-inch square, quarter-inch hex, 72 tooth, I think that's what it was. But I use slotted screws, and a lot of the antique or vintage furniture uses slotted screws. And I had kind of a constrained area I was working on. It was an old school desk chair, swiveling desk chair with wheels, probably from about the 1930s is my guess. But anyway, because it moves around, the screws back themselves out, and I was going to use a ratchet. I couldn't get a stubby in there. Actually, I could get it in there, but I couldn't turn it. I was going to use a ratchet. Thought I'd try this one out in that case, and one of the things I noticed right away is I was using this quarter to turn, to try to screw in the screws as much as I could before I started the ratcheting mechanism. And so I went and I got a spinner. I thought, well, that's kind of what this is for. I'm just sort of using it backwards. So I was driving it like this. But the spinner's pretty slippery, and this ratchet, the more I use the head is not that, I don't know, it doesn't fit in my hand very well. Not that ergodynamic or ergonomic. And what I started comparing it to this, and many times, there's like this optimum thing just about like that, where if I'm working, it just slides into my hand and I can control it. This one I have a little trouble with, especially if I move it up here. It just moves around in my hand. I think the head's too big. I was trying to come up with the differences between these two, why I couldn't hang on to it near as well. It might be the size of the head, might be this angle here. In other words, I've got to maintain contact at the top of the ratchet, but this shape here, I don't know. That's a different video probably on the head shape versus a hand. But I thought, you know what, there's a tool that needs to be invented here, unless it exists. So let me know if you already know about this. So I started doing this, and I thought, well, maybe I would put something else on there, like a socket. And I tried some different sockets, but as I have to move my hand, it's not quite there. I tried different sizes, tried some different lengths to see if, that doesn't work. I thought maybe, a Torx would make it easier, but you got to move farther away unless the Torx was right into this spot here. And then I thought, well, what I could do maybe is put something around one of these in order to get a better grip. I could keep a low profile. So this is a 9, and a 9 actually works pretty well as I tried it. And I thought I could I've got some bolt end cap, rubber end caps here. I could slide that on, and that actually worked fairly well, but I don't want to lose a 9. So I thought, well, what's close to a 9 that I don't use very much? I can slide that cover off here. And it turns out maybe a 3/8. So I went and I got a 3/8 here. I don't use that much, but I thought, I do use that some, so what's close to a 3/8 that I almost never use? And it turns out there is an 11/32. And I don't think I've ever used that. And it fits in there just pretty close to the same. I can slide that in, drop it on there. So now I've made my own spinner for this, but this would be a possible tool as making some sort of a gripping, a gripping pedestal that snaps onto a 1/4 inch. It would only work in something like this so far. But the other thing is, there's room to start working with more of a spinner or more of something dedicated to maybe a couple of different jobs. I could see this spins fast enough. It's really nice when you can spin something smaller because you get so many more turns, but you lose leverage. As I went up, like here's a 11 millimeter. I thought maybe a 10. Start out with a 10. It's a little on the big side. Plus the number of twists. The idea is speed. The number of twists in your hand is 3 or 4 per rotation. Whereas if I can reduce the diameter, you can see I'm actually doing a little over a half, or what am I doing there? I can do a half or a little under a half. So that actually worked fairly well. You can see it sliding in my hand. But there's a potential new tool because I want to be able to screw in the screw as fast as possible before transferring to using the ratchet mechanism. So that's what I came up with. Let me know if you know of anything that's already out like that. But it's always fun to try to solve problems with that. Doc out.